lot of it's common sense.
Donald Trump rallies voters in Las Vegas, people he was trying to reach, and whether that message is resonating.
Donald Trump is a racist, and he's homophobic. He's anti-immigrant, he's anti-Latino, anti-women, anti-gay.
My opponent will be nothing more than Harry Reid 2.0.
The battle lines are drawn. We break down the plans of attack for Republicans and Democrats that you'll be hearing a lot about in the coming months.
Sandoval versus the anti-tax wing of the Republican Party. We look at the wins claimed by both sides in Nevada's primary election.
From 8 News Now, this is Politics Now with Steve Sebelius and Patrick Walker.
Well, Donald Trump was in Las Vegas for the first time since locking down the Republican presidential nomination. Thanks for joining us. I'm Steve Sebelius.
And I'm Patrick Walker. Trump spoke at the Treasure Island on Saturday. The anti-Trump rally there was fairly peaceful, but one 19-year-old man was arrested when police say he tried to take an officer's gun. A few dozen protesters gathered outside.
Inside, Trump tried to revise his campaign slightly. First, he said the first thing he said was changing Make America Great Again to Make America Safe Again in the wake of the Orlando terror attack.
And he also started an attempt to woo African-American voters, saying his immigration policies will create more jobs for black youth.
I will do more for African Americans than Barack Obama has ever done. And believe me, he's done nothing. He's done nothing. He's done nothing but talk. He's done nothing but talk.
One of the ways Hillary Clinton was able to beat Bernie Sanders was by shoring up the African-American vote. So Donald Trump trying a new way to reach out. But it'll be very hard to get it to resonate.
And Bernie Sanders was on Trump's mind as well, as he encouraged him to carry on and keep fighting against Hillary until the convention.
Crazy Bernie. He's crazy as a bedbug, but you know, he doesn't quit. He doesn't quit. Gotta hand it to him. And I think Bernie should continue to go forward, folks. He should continue to go forward. He should fight to the last end.
Well, Trump says Sanders is hanging on until Clinton gets indicted for the email scandal. So, Steve, is there any chance that that's actually Sanders' strategy?
I don't know if he's thinking of any kind of indictment as his strategy, but certainly him staying in the race is definitely helping Donald Trump, because Hillary Clinton can't fully turn to the general election until she disposes of Bernie Sanders. It doesn't look like she's going to be able to do that until the conventions, and that's the end of next month.
Yeah, we're still talking a good 5-6 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, while some of Nevada's Republicans are trying to distance themselves from Trump, others are embracing him. Republican congressional candidate Danny Tarkanian introduced him on Saturday.
As a battleground state, Nevada will help determine who will be elected president. We can elect a man who will make America great again. And the alternative is someone that will say and do anything just to get elected, and who feels that she's entitled to be president because she perceives herself as political royalty.
Well, now, of course, Patrick, Donald Trump would never say or do anything just to get elected. That's just not his jam. Well, this week we talked to Face the Nation host John Dickerson about Donald Trump, guns, and whether Senator Bernie Sanders will ever concede the race. Here's that conversation. Speaking of Trump, he said this week he's going to protect the Second Amendment in the wake of that Orlando shooting. He's also going to reach out to talk to the NRA, which endorsed his candidacy. How do you see that going? And really, he is kind of pivoting in a direction that really nobody saw coming after a tragedy like we saw in Orlando.
Well, he did hint at this last year after the San Bernardino shootings. His main and strong position essentially is to do everything possible to stop terrorists. And that's caused him some complexity and problems as he's appeared to step on the First Amendment, step on some other American ideals. And so it would not be actually out of his way of operating for him to maybe step on the Second Amendment, if that's in fact what he's doing. I'm not sure we know really what Donald Trump's ultimate position is here on people who are on the terror watch list or the no-fly list and whether they can get firearms. I think that he may very well, it's very possible he could end up where the NRA is, which is the NRA says, no, we don't want terrorists to have guns either. It's just that the list is very sloppy. There's no due process for somebody who's put on that list. In other words, you can be put on, you don't know why, you have no court you can go to get off that list, and that is an abridgment of a due process where what we're talking about here is a fundamental American right, as determined by the Supreme Court, to own a firearm. So I think he could end up getting to something that doesn't look like it's very much different than what the NRA believes.
Bernie Sanders this week, he sort of indicated that he might be thinking about possibly starting to concede the race, although he didn't actually do it. He said, I'm committed to making sure that Donald Trump is not the president, but he didn't say that he supports Hillary Clinton or he concedes to Hillary Clinton. He's still withholding that. Do you think he's going to keep withholding that concession until the convention, until he gets what he wants out of that convention?
I think that's right. I don't know when if he'll hold off all the way until the convention. I think what he's trying to do is he's sending a signal that he is on board with trying to defeat Donald Trump, and he's no longer putting himself in the pole position in that effort or at the point of that effort. So that's an admission already that his campaign is really, that he's not going to get the nomination.
Well, you can watch Face the Nation every Sunday at 8:30 a.m. right here on 8 News Now.
Well, the Democrats have a clear plan of attack in the federal races, and they held a press conference on Wednesday, the day after the primary, to say what it is.
We are also ready to hold Republicans accountable for their extreme policies and their embarrassing support of Donald Trump.
Nevada's Democratic nominees presenting what they call a unified front in Las Vegas Wednesday, the day after the primary election.
Donald Trump is a racist, and he's homophobic. He's anti-immigrant, he's anti-Latino, anti-women, anti-gay.
State Senator Ruben Kihuen echoing the rallying call as Democrats march toward the general election, tying their Republican opponents to Donald Trump, just as GOP candidates are tying Democrats to Senator Harry Reid. It's already started in the Congressional District 3 race.
So what does my opponent, Danny Tarkanian, think? Well, he agrees with every reckless, thoughtless, insensitive, need I go on, comment that Donald Trump chooses to make.
Jackie Rosen was handpicked by the Washington establishment, worse than that, by Harry Reid. If the voters in CD3 want 2 more years of what Harry Reid has done, they're going to vote for her.
And in the U.S. Senate race, the primary matchup between Catherine Cortez Masto and Joe Heck has been presumed for months. And for months, it's also revolved around Trump and Reid.
You're looking out for the best interests of Nevada and our country, not for your own best interests, and that's why it's important to work in a bipartisan manner.
My opponent will be nothing more than Harry Reid 2.0, continuing the same failed liberal progressive policies of both Barack Obama and Harry Reid.
The question now, which will ring louder over the coming months? Anti-Trump and Reid sentiment, or the issues each party's voters care about most?
Well, let's take a look at the final numbers now in those federal races. In the U.S. Senate race, Catherine Cortez Masto pulled in almost 82,000 votes. Joe Heck over 74,000, and Sharon Engel had about 26,000. CD3, Jackie Rosen pulled in 14,000, while Danny Tarkanian pulled in 9,000. And at CD4, Ruben Kihuen had 12,000 votes, while incumbent Crescent Hardy got over 18,000. So I think, Steve, is this going to be an effective plan of attack, and how much will the presidential race turnout really level the chances here?
Yeah, I think the presidential race definitely is going to be a factor here because, I mean, you never know what Donald Trump is going to say or do, and candidates to varying degrees have affiliated themselves with him. I mean, the Danny Tarkanian thing is they're joined at the hip now, from now until November. Not so much Joe Heck and some of these other ones, but that's definitely going to be a factor as we go forward.
Does it help Danny Tarkanian just embracing support for Trump, whereas so many people, does it give to the point of, okay, yes, I embrace it, move on in that argument?
You know, I think it gives Jackie Rosen an opening to just needle him with every new remark that comes down. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine that Trump is going to run a technically perfect campaign from this point forward, and it's going to become nice, right, like overnight.
Sure.
So I think that's a risk. That's a risk that he's taking in this race, and he didn't necessarily need to do it, which is the odd thing. But he felt that was the way to go.
Well, it's Governor Sandoval versus the anti-tax crowd. Who won in the primary elections and what it means for the legislature going forward. Coming up.
All right, guys, we brought you to this construction trailer to talk about trucks today. Which truck brand offers engines with best-in-class V8 towing or fuel economy?
We moving?
We're going.
It's the answer to the question, baby. Silverado.
Ooh, that's cool.
It's Truck Month. Qualified buyers get 0% financing for 60 months. Plus, find your tank and get $8,250 total value on this Silverado All-Star. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
The Race Now on Politics Now is sponsored by NV Energy. We're putting all of our energy into your energy.
We're all precious in God's eyes. We teach our kids to treat others the way they want to be treated.
When you're the parent of a disabled child, you realize that the world can be a harsh place, but you also realize that it can be a really loving, wonderful place.
When I saw Donald Trump mock somebody who was disabled, I was appalled.
You got to see this guy. I don't know what I said. I don't remember.
It told me everything I need to know about his heart and what he believes deep down.
Priorities USA Action is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I'm attorney Glenn Lerner. Make one call, that's all to 877-1500, and I'll make sure you get every dollar you deserve.
877-1500. Tire Works for the full range of services, including our alignment special, now only $49.95. Tire Works AC special for just $39.99. Tire Works brake special, just $79.95. Tire Works.
No wonder they're so excited. They must have seen the new Volkswagen Passat. This midsize sedan was redesigned with fun-loving families in mind. There's lots of room inside for your little party animals, and you'll enjoy its standard features, like a rear-view camera. Everything about it has grown up, except the low starting price.
Did I mention it's quiet inside? What is going on back there? Although I must say, nice composition.
Hurry in and get 0% APR for 60 months on select 2016 Passat models, or lease this 2016 Passat S for $189 a month.
Welcome back to Politics Now.
Well, one of the big primary night themes on the Republican side was would the anti-tax wing of the party beat out the incumbents who voted for the business tax?
Yeah, 11 Republicans who voted for Governor Brian Sandoval's business tax were targeted by anti-tax opponents from within their own Republican Party. Most notably, Assemblywoman Victoria Seaman knocked off the more moderate Assemblyman Irv Nelson for a state Senate District 6 primary.
But 7 of the 11 survived the challenge, and Democrats are claiming a small victory for those remaining Republicans.
When the post-election dust settled Tuesday night, the majority of Republicans who backed the business tax in the 2015 session advanced to November's general election, including Assembly Speaker John Hambrick and Majority Leader Paul Anderson. But Assemblywoman Victoria Seaman, a vocal anti-tax Republican, picked up a win over her former pro-tax colleague, Assemblyman Irv Nelson.
Well, the important thing is to continue to educate voters out there on some of the work that we did in the last session in Carson City and some of the work that still needs to be done.
Democrats are looking to build on momentum gained in the 2015 session when they were able to pass several bills in a Republican-controlled legislature.
And we will be able to work with some of the moderate Republicans who worked with us on an agenda, frankly, that the Democrats have been espousing for a decade.
State Senate Minority Leader Aaron Ford says he's confident Democrats will regain control in his chamber, as is Democratic Assembly Leader Irene Bustamante Adams.
Democrats in the Assembly need 5 new seats to regain the majority. 9 of those districts have Democratic advantage.
Whether or not Democrats get enough seats in November, Ford says he's optimistic about the legislature moving to the middle when lawmakers convene in Carson City next January.
And State Senate Majority Leader Michael Roberson, who was instrumental in helping the business tax to get through the legislature, of course, will also be returning to Carson City next year.
Yeah, he lost his Congressional District 3 primary battle with Danny Tarkanian. You can consider him another casualty of the commerce tax vote, even if he is in the middle of his Senate term. He'll face voters for his own seat in 2018.
Yeah, I know he does want to stay in the leadership position. Now, is this, do you see any other thoughts coming out of the primary, any surprises, anything worth noting?
You know, it's funny, the Clark County School District has had a lot of problems, graduation rates and dropout rates are graduation rates low, dropout rates high, standardized test scores bad, yet every single incumbent won or came out first in their re-election bids. And it looks like the incumbents who didn't win outright are going to go on in November to win. So that really did surprise me, because I would have thought dissatisfaction with those results would have driven more people to look at some of the challengers, some of whom were presented pretty good alternatives.
Oh, well, I guess we'll see how that plays out when we see the final ballots in November. Well, no fly, no buy.
People know what they're talking about. Harry Reid coming out and talking about the fact that someone said, he was quoting it twice, that you can buy an automatic assault weapon without any background check at gun shows.
Our face-off panel takes on the controversial new gun law currently being debated in the Senate. That's next.
I've been using Silver State Plumbing for all my plumbing emergencies. So when my water heater broke, I knew just who to call. I wanted a company that was fast, responsive, and had great reviews. So of course I called Silver State.
But don't wait until trouble started. Right now you can get a whole house plumbing inspection for just $25.
I couldn't have called a better company than Silver State Plumbing. You'll be glad you called too.
Silver State Plumbing, 433-5008.
The world is getting more dangerous. Your home may not be as safe as you think. Trust Rolladen Rolling Shutters to protect your home, your business, and especially your family. Your windows alone can't stop burglars. You need the protection only Rolladen Rolling Shutters can provide. With Rolladen's durable aluminum construction and insulation, you'll be safe and secure, plus saving money, up to 60% off your energy bills. Right now, get a free Fire Sense control switch with your order. It opens your shutters in case of a fire. Call Rolladen for your peace of mind.
The Fairway Chevrolet tent event has been extended. First come, first served this week, as the savings just keep getting bigger. During this event, get 25% off MSRP on our most popular brand new Chevys. That's cash in your pocket when you buy at the big tent event. Plus, the first 50 buyers get a GoPro Hero with your purchase. It's all happening at the Fairway Chevrolet Extended Tent Event right now.
Look for the big tents at Fairway Chevrolet on East Sahara, where you deserve to be treated the fair way.
Monday morning on Good Day, the fist pumping ends and the gridlock begins.
The best way to get around the mess when the thousands at the Speedway head to their cars and the 15th.
Plus, they are supposed to be safer, but are the new chip credit cards really a better option?
It's a whole lot easier to forge someone's signature than it is to know their PIN.
The reason major retailers are suing banks over new credit and debit cards.
Plus, the heat is coming back. We're looking for the hottest temperatures of the year to kick off summer and your work week Monday on Good Day.
This is Face Off, where we talk about the big issues of the day from the right and from the left. The Orlando terror attack put guns and who should be able to buy guns back on the front burner. This week in Face Off, KXNT radio host Alan Stock and Battleborn Progress Deputy Director Maria Teresa Lieberman.
Moving now toward gun violence, no fly, no buy, compromise is possibly being worked out. I guess my question is, where are we going? What can be done? Will anything be done?
I think we are seeing something different. Usually after a mass shooting, which I'm tired of saying another mass shooting, we see the thoughts and prayers and the moments of silence in Congress, and then nothing gets done. We've never really had a substantial conversation. This is the first time that we're seeing an actual conversation taking place, and where we actually have a vote on the Senate floor for the closing the terror gap and expanding background checks, which I think is exactly what we need to do. Now we need to just move that into the House and actually work on some legislation to stop these tragedies from occurring.
I'm very, very strong Second Amendment, and I don't, leave my guns alone and everything like that. I agree that there's no reason that someone such as the guy who did the shooting in Orlando, who was interviewed twice on the FBI list twice, there should have been a red flag there. I know they took him off the list, but when you go to buy a gun, and you've been interviewed by the FBI and they're concerned about you, there should be a red flag there at least to say, hold on a second, let's look into this person further. I don't necessarily agree with the no-fly list being the same as not being able to buy a gun. Edward Kennedy was on the no-fly list. So, course, he had issues swimming too, but that's another story. You know, he was on the no-fly list, and so he wouldn't have been able to buy a gun. So I'm not sure about the no-fly list. I do think that there has to be some consideration given to people who have been interviewed, are on the list, the concern list by the FBI, and haven't been arrested, but they've been investigated and looked into. I don't want these people having guns either. And Donald Trump, I know, is now going to be meeting with the NRA to look at some of those aspects. And I think it's a common sense issue. You know, I don't want other restrictions on guns. I mean, people are making a lot of weird statements these days. How many the gun that he used, the president said, had a lot of clips. What does that mean? First of all, they're magazines. What a lot of gun doesn't have the magazine anyway. But people know what they're talking about. Harry Reid coming out and talking about the fact that someone said, he was quoting it twice, that you can buy an automatic assault weapon without any background check at gun shows. I think it's very important to say this. Assault weapons. They use the term assault weapon, assault weapon. To me, an assault weapon is anything you use to assault someone with. It could be a rifle, it could be a handgun, it could be a baseball bat. If I assault you with a baseball bat, you've been assaulted, and that weapon has become an assault weapon. So using the term assault weapon itself does not define what we're looking for.
I agree. As far as the terminology, I'm not a gun expert, and I really, frankly, I think that instead of focusing on what terminology are we using, we need to figure out that legislation that is going to be worked on actually addresses those issues. That you're right, someone that is on the terror watch list or on the FBI's radar or has called the police department saying that they want to cause harm to people, they shouldn't be able to get a gun legally at all, no matter what kind of gun it is. They shouldn't be able to get any type of weapon. There should be a flag, and it needs to be consistent across the board.
Well, CBS News poll this week showed 89% support among Americans for universal background checks in the wake of the Orlando attack. So maybe this is one area where a consensus is finally emerging. Nevada voters will get their chance to weigh in come November when a background check initiative is on the ballot. You can watch our full face-off discussion, including a breakdown of primary night and how state races may turn out on LasVegasNow.com. Look for the Your Local Election Headquarters section. Patrick?
All right, thank you very much, Steve. It's time now for the Race Now, where we recap some of the big local stories this week. Attorney General Adam Laxalt is now asking the state Supreme Court to delay oral arguments in the Education Savings Account voucher program. Now, the reason, Laxalt says, his attorney will be out of the country on July 8th. The state originally was pushing for a date in early June so they could start handing out the money before the next school year. Now, the court has not answered yet whether or not they will be delaying that hearing. Laxalt also weighed in on the Orlando terror attack as well this week, accusing the president of refusing to use the words radical Islamic terrorism.
Well, there's a lot of stuff out there, but we shift into gun control and we shift into politics and a bunch of other things, and we have to stay laser focused. And unfortunately, if we don't take the fight to ISIS and we don't stay committed to defeating this radical ideology, then more of these terrorists will be spawned.
Now, it is worth noting the president did use the word terrorism in his remarks after the attack. And get ready for the political ad onslaught here in the presidential race. Nevada, one of a handful of states where Hillary Clinton, spreading around more than $7 million to attack Trump. About $500,000 will be spent on the first salvo, which will start running at the end of the month. So be prepared. The ads are coming. Well, tackling drug deaths. The state summit on the horizon to figure out how to stop the lethal prescription drug overdoses. Coming up next.
The Greater Las Vegas Association of Realtor members live, work, and play in Southern Nevada, helping homeowners and protecting private property rights for 69 years. GOVR is proud to be an 8 News Now Community Pride partner.
Sinclair set off 100 years ago, and we never would have made it this far without the constant drive for something better. And with DinoCare top-tier gasoline, the road trip never has to end.
We are so confident in our marketing program. If we don't sell your home in 30 days or less, we will buy it. Don't want to wait 30 days? Condition of your home less than perfect? If your home is a pain in your neck, call Gavish Real Estate for a check. Capiche? That's Gavish.
Honey, the water heater's broken.
Call Lang! The toilet won't flush. Mom!
I'd better call Lang.
When you call Lang Plumbing, you get affordable pricing, unmatched workmanship, honesty, and integrity.
Call Lang!
All right, guys, we brought you to this construction trailer to talk about trucks today. Which truck brand offers engines with best-in-class V8 towing or fuel economy?
We moving?
We're going.
It's the answer to the question, baby. Silverado.
Ooh, that's cool.
It's Truck Month. Qualified buyers get 0% financing for 60 months. Plus, find your tank and get $8,250 total value on this Silverado All-Star. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
The Greater Las Vegas Association of Realtor members live, work, and play in Southern Nevada, helping homeowners and protecting private property rights for 69 years. GOVAR is proud to be an 8 News Now Community Pride Partner.
Climate change is real, healthcare is affordable, and love is love.
Commander and preach! You gotta listen to my man, Berizas. He's accomplished a lot in 8 years. Even when Congress tried to block him, he found a way in through the back door.
President
Awkward
Obama
moments.
slow jamming the news. I'm ready for him to wrap the news, I think, at this point. He's in his last year. Come on.
What could it hurt, right?
Well, this week, Catherine Cortez Masto's campaign challenged Joe Heck to 3 debates, including one here on 8 News Now. We've actually been working on setting up that debate and originally contacted the campaigns back in February. We've been in negotiations with both campaigns since then, and we hope to have more information about that in the very near future.
Well, this is What to Watch, where we fill you in on what to keep an eye on for the next week. Governor Sandoval is planning to tackle prescription drug abuse in Nevada. He has announced that a summit will be held in August, but next week there's a planning meeting for that summit. They should be hashing out what the topics exactly will be. Nevada has the 14th highest per capita overdose death rate in the country. And the country's top immigration attorneys will all be in Las Vegas next week. About 3,000 of them will be at the Cosmopolitan starting on Wednesday. On their plate, topics ranging from potential immigration laws to refugee concerns and border security. So a lot to tackle in a short amount of time.
Yeah, absolutely. The governor giving that attention is going to definitely elevate that issue higher up on the radar. So, well, thanks for watching Politics Now. You can email us at politics@lasvegasnow.com.
And we are your local election headquarters for the next year. Stay up to date online and watch us right here every Sunday. See you next week.